It's Tuesday morning. It is February the 1st. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week. We chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Hopefully a little bit about what's going on in your life. Hopefully it's a great start for you. Hopefully it's great weather for you. If you like the cool temperatures and the sunshine, certainly you have been enjoying the weather that we have all been experiencing. But if you like warmer temperatures, we've got a little bit of that as well heading your direction. Let's start off with a live look outside. This is our Tower Cam network. We're looking through downtown Orlando off to the east. The sun in all of its victorious triumphancy. Is that a word? I'm trying to make it a thing. Let's tilt this down a little bit. How's that? Is that a little better? I feel like that's a little bit better. In all of its victorious triumphancy. At any rate, it's a beautiful start to the day. That's a shot from the just gorgeous sunrise. Temperatures are nice and cool. Not as cool as they were yesterday, though, but nice and cool nonetheless. We're at 47 degrees in Orlando, 43 in Leesburg, sitting at about 39 in Wildwood, 37 degrees in Ocala. So it is nice and cool. Though, when we compare temperatures to this time yesterday, we are continuing that upward adjustment. 9 degrees warmer this morning in Orlando, 10 degrees warmer this morning in Palm Bay. First warning, Doppler radar. I mean, this shouldn't be much of a surprise. There's nothing to see whatsoever. There's just not much moisture. I'm okay with that. Let's keep it that way, right? All right, so where do we go from here? Well, through the day today, we watch our temperatures climb from the 30s and 40s this morning. There were a couple of areas in the 30s to the 40s, 50s, 60s, and we actually make it into the 70s today. It looks like a wonderful, wonderful forecast. Now, that said, and we're going to talk more about the pattern that we're in. I do want to let you know, though, I stayed late last night in the office a few minutes, and I finished up our March long-range forecast. And then after Coffee Talk yesterday, I did the February. So we have February and March long-range forecasts that we can go ahead and look at, which I'm excited about. Kenneth says, I wish SpaceX would tweet about today's alleged launch, now assumed to be before 2 p.m. instead of it after 2 p.m. Yeah, I mean, the best that we have from SpaceX and from data is from the 45th, which outlines a 1:46 launch window. But again, you know, that's always subject to change. SpaceX always changes things around. Yeah, 1:46. The window runs for a while after, but 1:46 is when that launch window opens. So weather looks good, by the way, for the launch. That's the good news. But yeah, SpaceX, they do a great job launching rockets, but we always kind of hang out with bated breath waiting for an update from them in terms of launch adjustments or so. All right, so what's going on weather-wise? Well, we have been enjoying this wonderful, wonderful pattern. High pressure has been our dominant weather influencer. It is now kind of off to our east. You can see those clouds. You see these clouds out here? They're kind of moving toward the beaches. Yeah. That will start to lend itself to a few showers here over the next several days' time. So we're not talking about washouts by any means, but there will be opportunities for rain here or there. So if you're wanting to head out and about, heading to the attractions today or so, it's a wonderful day, though that onshore wind today adds clouds, and then over the next couple of days, we may throw in a few sprinkles here or there. Tina, thank you very much. Good morning. Gene says launch 1:46 today. That's the best that we've got. You know, SpaceX may adjust it, and we'll certainly keep you up to date on that, but that's the best that we've got. Becca says, good morning, just sitting here paying the bills. Gotta love adulting. I don't think you gotta love, I don't love it at all. All right, so it is February 1st, which means that it is time to look back and look forward. For the month of January, we had 1 day at average temperatures, 17 days above average. So even if, see, this is why, you know, climate data is always interesting to look back at. Even if you looked back because we had just come out of a cold stretch and said to yourself, man, January was frigid. Not so fast, grasshopper. As a matter of fact, more than half the month we were above average. And I can confirm that because I was using my LRC fact sheet yesterday and saw the above. Now, the below average days were below average, but there were more above average days than there were below. So, yeah, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Eric, will you eventually do a monthly forecast for April, planning today on a trip? Yes, but not at this moment. I just did the February and March. Yeah, just not this moment. Ashley, good morning to you. Debbie, good morning. Thawed out? Yeah, I'm thawed out. What does February hold, though? What is ahead for the month of February? Here is our weather almanac. The average temperatures for the beginning of February, 73 over 51. The average temperatures for the end of February, now this is interesting, 77 and 54. Aha. So we are starting our upward trend. Yep. We have made it up to 90 degrees in the month of February. Keep in mind, it is our 4th driest month. But right in here, spring tornado season begins. Yes. Remember, Central Florida has the summer tornado season where it's tropical systems, hurricanes, things like that, afternoon thunderstorms. But, I got to take this off. I'm like thawing out inside the house here, and I'm like, I don't need it anymore. But during the spring, especially during El Nino years, not that we're there right now, but at any rate, especially during El Nino years, you see a threat for tornadoes and other severe weather in Florida this time of year. For example, today is Tuesday, February 1st. Tomorrow is Groundhog Day. And we're going to talk a lot about this tomorrow, but there was a tornado outbreak back on February 2nd, 2007. Yeah. 15 years ago, 21 people lost their lives. Yep. So that's coming up tomorrow. And as a matter of fact, today while I'm in the office, I'm going to try and write one, if not two stories to try and tell, because I was there and it's kind of interesting. I was just looking back. My plan is to post some WESH footage from those days. I got a little bit yesterday. I got the day that I have is, so the tornado struck on a Friday morning. I pulled the air checks for that Sunday morning because that was my first time ever on WESH. So if I can't find actual tornado coverage, I will at the very least be able to share with you WESH 2 News coverage from that Sunday morning because that was my first morning. So yeah, so that Sunday, which would be this Friday, is the equivalency. But yeah, so I will have some coverage to share with you. Kind of a wild thing when you think about it. Really, 15 years ago, it's wild. Elizabeth, is this the crazy weather month? I mean, February does lend itself to being a crazy weather month. So we'll take a moment and let's look downrange, okay? Since we're talking about this, let's look at my LRC, my long range forecast for February, okay? So I issued this at first on January 4th. And then I went and I made some tweaks, okay? So here we are. Now, I will tell you, before we go too deep in this, I will tell you that I did not look at computer model. I completely looked at LRC data. So, for example, when I updated this yesterday, it's not like I looked at the GFS and the European to try and make tweaks to it. Strictly your LRC data. Now, what is the LRC? The LRC stands for the Lezak recurring cycle. Okay, the idea is that the weather in October and November sets up a pattern and it loops over and over and over and over. If you've been with us for a couple of years, like last year was the first year that we really came out and made it a big thing and talked about it. I could tell you that during these winter, definitely late winter into early spring months, it gives us opportunities to do things like this, the long-range forecasting. especially into, like January is but like February and March, that's when we can really hone it in because we have the cycle duration and everything. But it gives us ideas on trends. Okay, so at any rate, I didn't look at computer models, strictly based everything on the LRC, but we're looking great. Kind of notice next week, here today's the 1st. We're kind of in mid this week. Shower chance and warming, comfy temperatures through the weekend. We're starting to warm things up a little bit for next week, continuing to warm some rains around, continuing to warm. By about the 21st and the 22nd, that's when it looks like there's going to be a bit of a pattern shift. That's when it looks like we're going to start to get cooler. Now, the 23rd and 24th, there is a severe threat in there, okay? So the end of the month does look like it's going to be... does look like it's going to be at least something of thunderstorms around. We'll have to watch because that cycle, if you compare the cycles, there was a Florida severe event that is cycling back around on the 23rd and the 24th, okay? Jennifer, my husband said that your data tracking project is completely doable. There are 2 ways. The rest of the explanation gets way too nerdy from there. It can be done. I know it can be done. I've been doing it all. It's not that I've been doing it all, I've been doing the data entry manually, but it kind of runs little tables around to torture the data. Yeah. Stephanie says, my daughter was in that tornado. Oh, man. Karen, I remember that day. You'll remember a lot of the coverage. Again, so what I plan on doing is tomorrow morning on Coffee Talk, Arnett, who has joined us on Coffee Talk so often, Arnett had to move out of her house for 6 months. So I'm hoping to be able to talk to Arnett and to just chat about what that experience was like and get an idea from there. I'll share with you a couple of clips that I have from that day, and then I will post like an hour-long chunk of news from that day. If I can find it. If not, it's going to be coverage of that event maybe a couple of days later. I'll have to see what I can get. But yeah, so I've got I found this yesterday, and I'm not going to play it for you now. But I did find... Hold on a second. Yeah, this was... All right, so this is a clip of me from 2007. Hold on. Yeah, this is me from 2007. I was on at This was me doing a live shot for my old station, WPBF. But yeah, so that was February 2nd of that day. And... a couple of days later, I ended up showing up on WESH reporting as well. It's kind of crazy to, stand out in Lake County. And it was Paisley, but it was Lake Mac is what it was. So anyway, it was, it was what it was. It was terrible, terrible, terrible. Let's see here. My parents... in that tornado in Lady Lake, a big tree fell on top of their house, hit the room right next to the room they were in. All was safe, thank God. Isn't that amazing? Annette says, I want to chase a tornado. Is that too weird of me to say? I would say that's not too weird. Just make sure if you ever do that you're in either you're a meteorologist and educated, or, there are businesses that do storm chasing. Did you know that? Yeah, there are businesses that do storm chasing. My friend Brandon Ivy, let's look. Let's look here. Let me see if I can bring this up. My friend Brandon Ivy was on the TV show on the Discovery Channel, Storm Chasers. So I just Googled his name, Brandon Ivy Storm Chaser, okay? And stormchasingtour.com is his website. So yeah, so if you, I will tell you, and I certainly have not been paid to do this, but If you have an interest in storm chasing, there are reputable companies like that's Brandon. He was in meteorology school with me. I have not talked to him in forever. But yeah, he runs a company, and 2022 storm chasing tours. Yeah, that's where they load up in the van, and I mean, it's not cheap, but I guess they do rooms. Yeah, look at that, 1 seat available, full. Wow. 5 seats available, 1 seat available. That's cool. That's very cool. So, yeah, those are the dates, and I guess it includes hotels and all that stuff. So it's you know, Nancy says Brandon would be a great coffee talk guest. You know, I haven't talked to him in, it may have been 10 years, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy. You know what's neat is he used to work at, when we were in school together, he worked at 7-Eleven and storm chased on the side, and was able to parlay his nerddom of storm chasing not only into a career, but into a career. I mean, he did, like I said, he did the storm chasing show, the storm chasing show, I think it was on the Discovery Channel like 15 years ago. He was with Reed Timmer and all of those guys. Yeah. So check that out. But if you're interested in storm chasing, those things do exist. Now, it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but, you know, Patty says, hard to imagine an EF3 around here. I used to watch that show with Brandon. Oh, yeah, you remember. Yeah. So, yeah, it is hard to imagine, but yet we are coming up tomorrow on the 15-year anniversary of it. What's interesting, if I may, is that the 98 tornadoes, that anniversary is February 22nd, 23rd, and this year, according to the LRC, there should be another line of nasty storms moving in. So we'll have to watch that the end of the month. What about March? I had a few people yesterday ask about March, and I stayed in the office late for you so that I could make sure to get you that information. So March, the first and third weekends, there's going to be the threat for some stronger storms. So there's a couple of stronger storm opportunities as well in the month of March. But frankly, March is not looking bad at all. Yeah. March is not looking bad at all. I was between meteorology and marine biology for college. Marine biology 1, but still love meteorology. That's okay, Audra. But you can take, what's nice is you can take a chase on a group like that. And, you know, at least there, you know, there's experts there. So you will not find yourself in dangerous territory. That's the important part. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Reach out, Eric. Get in touch with them. Let me. I mean, it's. I don't know that I would want to. I don't know that I would want to text him this early. Yeah, still have his phone number. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, but back in college, man, we talked like almost every day, and then even not much after college. You know, we kept in touch for quite many years, but you know, he got busy, I got busy. You know how it goes. But that's what's kind of neat is as you get older, you can still stay in touch with friends even if you haven't talked to them in forever. Jennifer says, storm chasing. I got to tour the weather department at OU in Norman, Oklahoma. I also got to see the big rig storm truck. Very cool. That is very cool. I was here in Deer Haven, about 1.5 miles from Forest Hills Lake Mac. I think, Beverly, that's where I'm going tomorrow in the lab. I think I'm going to go and front my stories in the lab. Phyllis, thank you for saying something so kind. Thank you. Eric, maybe you could do a storm chase with him live. Well, and if not with him, I could do it with KMBC, our sister station in Kansas City, or with KOCO in Oklahoma City. It's funny, they both have weather labs just like ours. One calls it weather control, one calls it, I don't know, it's just different names, but they're literally the same truck. Except theirs have satellite dishes on it. Their trucks are a little older than ours. We don't need a satellite dish anymore. You know, technology has been, so we don't need a satellite dish. Isn't that neat? How technology continues moving forward. Melissa says, I'm ready to start kayaking in March. My goal is to get a kayak or something to be able to go out. That's my goal, yeah. Lisa says, I was in Oklahoma one day and I got to see the inside of one of the storm chaser vehicles. Pretty cool. They were at a truck stop looking up at the sky. I drive semi, so I was curious what they were looking at. Looking at a supercell splitting into two cells. I asked them what that meant. They said a tornado, so I left. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I like that. Good year because March is mine. My husband's birthday is very cool, Don. My wedding anniversary is in March. That also means little Eric's birthday is in March. Yeah. And isn't Garth Brooks coming too, right? Is that March or is that? That's March. Isn't Garth here that weekend? Yeah. Joanne says, sorry, folks, our ship canceled the Sunday launch, but our Bengals won. Who did? That's funny. Yeah. I feel like somebody's going to get their wrist slapped for that one. I don't know. Nita, good morning to you. How are you? My allergies are at me. Last thing I need after recovering from. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry, Marie. I'm sorry. Candace says, you'll be my best friend if we could have warm weather for my birthday cruise the 22nd through the 28th. Well, you can see, at least at the beginning, that 20-second window there, trending cooler, but look at that, warmer. So maybe it's a little cool as you head out. But then, looking better and better. Debbie, my birthday's in March. I love it. Leonard, good morning. Stella, that was me knocking. Hi, baby. I know. My little security detail. Kylie says, hopefully it doesn't storm April 2nd. I'm getting married that day. You know, April 2nd should be nice. I mean, with just eyeballing just how transitioning cooler, late month, temperatures are dropping late month, I would say that early April we should be comfortable and starting to climb again. Nancy says, Garth is March 26th at Camping World. Yeah. I have tickets to that. I'm so excited. Chris said, so at least the mosquitoes should be dead from the freeze. I'd be okay with that. Yeah. All right, back to where we're at now. I mean, I love looking long range, but it's important to keep tabs on what we've got coming up here as well. So for us this morning, we're looking great. This afternoon, we're looking great, heading to about 73 degrees this afternoon. There are a few sprinkles in there these next couple of days. One thing that's interesting, and I talked about this on the afternoon coffee talk yesterday, the GFS and the Euro, they're going and playing tag, going back and forth in terms of rain chances. For this weekend, you can see Saturday and Sunday, 20%, 30%. The models are going back and forth. So just in looking at the LRC pattern doesn't really go bonkers on shower chances. All right. So based on that, I would tend to say that our rain chances would be a little bit on the lower side this weekend, which is good. I'll take that. But, it's something to watch. Definitely something to watch. 80s, though, returning Thursday into Friday. And then a little front kind of helps to pop that heat bubble just a little bit and drop things off just a little bit. Not bad. Jennifer says, my baby is turning 7 next week. Ay. That's a wild pill to swallow, watching our children getting older, right? Stacy says, looking for a weather window with no snow, ice for a friend to travel from West Virginia to Florida with their motorhome. Any help? Appreciated. Well, I mean, I can't fix anything on the ground, but I mean, I would say if they're wanting to, like today, you can go. I mean, you can see the I-95 corridor is quiet, and even that storm system that's heading into Kansas City as we speak, there's not much moisture to it for now, I have to tell you this real fast, guys. Speaking of wide shots, take a look at the satellite and radar, okay? You see that little storm system near Texas? So Jeremy Nelson yesterday said to me, hey, mark that storm system near Texas on your LRC sheet so that we could come back and note it for the hurricane forecast. And I said, okay. But then I started looking. All right, so follow me here. Hold on. All right. This is my LRC sheet. Give me a second for it to load. Okay. So, yes, let's take a look. All right. So yesterday, what was yesterday? Yesterday was the end of January. So if we look at the end of January, that's cycle day 50, right? So I was like, okay, let's go to the first cycle day 50. So I texted him and I said, Jeremy, Believe it or not, my friend, I already had it marked from the first time that it did its thing. Isn't that wild? And he just, I don't remember what sarcastic thing he said, but he said something along the lines of, something along the lines of, that's incredible. Isn't it something? I just thought that was amazing. Yeah, because he had said, look for it and mark it down, and I'm like, I wonder if it happened the last cycle, but there it is. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there it is again, recycling. And the short answer is yes, that's a hint at hurricane season, which we are very much in discussion for. Yeah, we are already working very hard. Our goal, and we'll hit it, we will be out with our hurricane season forecast. I can't even believe we're talking about it. We'll be out with our hurricane season forecast March the 1st. Can you believe that? March the 1st, we are going to be releasing our 2022 hurricane season forecast. And what's amazing is that when you look at hurricane season forecasts, our forecast doesn't just talk about storm systems, but it gives you an idea of where and when they will impact. I think that's pretty neat. At any rate, enough of that. No hurricanes out there right now. We're not talking about that. What we are talking about is an awful nice week of weather. Temperatures today in the 70s. Tomorrow approaching 80 degrees. Approaching 80. It's Groundhog Day. Joke. I know. Punxsutawney Phil, I guess I'll have to get set up to take some live coverage from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, the prognosticator of prognosticators. All that cheesy stuff. And then 80 degrees Thursday and Friday. This weekend, the rain chances, I would say 20 to 30 probably are not going to go up. Like I said, the GFS and the Euro just do not agree, but we'll see how that all plays out. Any questions before we put this puppy to bed? A reminder, I am with you today. I'm in from Manalfi, which means that you get 2 more good gravy. I feel like I'm like a 24-hour loop here. You get 2 more editions of Coffee Talk. We've got the afternoon Coffee Talk at 3:30, and then we also have our 9 p.m. evening Coffee Talk. Cool. So much to say, so much to say. A little baby. Sonia, I hope there's no hurricanes on the second week of June. Our family is going on the Disney cruise. Once I finalize my list, I'll show you. At this point, all I've done, and this is, I'll show you. I made a PDF and sent it to Jeremy Nelson. And the PDF has events, has different events in there. Yeah. So these are all events of note. Can we look at them, Burris? No, not yet. Can we please look at them? Stand by. March 1st, live coverage. We'll have Jeremy Nelson on Coffee Talk that day. When we release our hurricane season forecast, he will be there. He and I are working absolutely in tandem once again. I love it. I love surrounding myself with smarter people than I am. Interesting how you've got the quotes but haven't seen the movie. Well, story of my life. Fake it till you make it, right? Punxsutawney Phil came to my 3rd grade class to visit. Does he do school talks? Interesting. Jan, we really appreciate your time. And I well, thank you very much. Vanessa over on the YouTube. I'm just happy that we are warming up. Me as well. Vivid says, hope the cruise captain knows not to drive into the no-go zone. We did a story on West yesterday about it because it's like, especially with these polar launches, the trajectories are different. The restricted areas are different. And, like in the aviation world, read your NOTAMs. Notice to airmen. I don't know what they're called in the water world, but they have to do that too. Don says, I love our times together. And thanks, Eric, for giving some of your time. Well, thank you. I love our times together as well. Listen, I love I love talking about stuff that I love talking about, and I love talking about weather. That's why I didn't go work for the National Weather Service, because I love talking about weather, you know? And so I'm great. That's why I don't mind doing, I don't mind doing a couple of other coffee talks. Now, they may not be as long as this one. This is my signature coffee talk, the morning coffee talk. Answer your phone? Is that a line from the movie? See, I can't fake it that well. How's Dad? Real fast before we wrap this up. Dad's getting stronger. He was squeezing my hand yesterday, and they're doing physical therapy. Gotta keep on keeping on, and just gotta keep him getting stronger and stronger and stronger. He wants out of that rehab. Let me tell you, he wants out of that rehab, and I want him out of that rehab. So we'll get there, little by little. We'll get there. Yeah. Tara, it's always nice to watch Coffee Talk and the time you put into preparing weather presentations. You help us to know. Well, thank you. I don't prepare before Coffee Talk because it's kind of like the train that just flies off the tracks, and we use what we have. But yeah, I try to be a little more professional on the television broadcast side. I have to put on a tie. I wear the makeup, which I have to go buy more of today. Speaking of which, but yeah, Dad's Dad. Remember, we've talked to him. He just wants out. But I'll tell you a funny story. So he can't talk yet. So yesterday he mouths words. And so we're able to have some conversations. But he said this to me yesterday. And I said, breakfast? And he was like, no. And I'm like, what? What is that, Dad? And you get that's the struggle at this point, is we just can't effectively communicate yet. We're working on it, but, it's just not there yet. So, anyway, that's all we got. All right, I'm going to go take Stella out for potty. I'm sure she's going to be very excited about that. I will see you again for the afternoon coffee talk at 3:30 today. We'll be checking in with Cam Tran on what she's working on for 4. And then I will see you for West 2 News at 5, 6, 10, and 11. Yeah, I'm in for Mr. Manolfi one more day. I should call him and wake him up just because. I'm like that annoying kid, And then tomorrow, special coverage on the 15-year anniversary of the Groundhog Day tornadoes, a day that I will never forget. A day that I think many Central Floridians that lived here will never forget. All right? All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so very much for hanging out. I will see you guys and gals later.